Welcome, everybody. It Tastes Different Gaming News. What's in the news today? Arrowhead Studio CEO apologizes because starting in June, you're going to have to link your PlayStation account to your Steam account to play Helldivers 2. So, Arrowhead Studio, and I hope I don't mispronounce his name, Johan Pilstead, has released a statement apologizing to disgruntled Helldivers 2 fans in the wake of Sony forcing Steam players to link their accounts to a PlayStation Network account in order to continue playing the wildly popular third-person shooter. Earlier today, Sony released a statement announcing that a new Helldivers 2, now keep that in mind, I do say new Helldivers 2 PC players will be asked to link their Steam accounts to a PlayStation Network account on May 6th in order to continue playing the game. This, in turn, sparked outrage from players on social media, with fans threatening to quit the game cold turkey, demand refunds, and flood Helldivers 2 with negative reviews. Helldivers 2 received 14,000 negative reviews today. Since this announcement by Sony. According to the Helldivers 2 Steam Customer Reviews tab, the game has received thousands of negative reviews in response to Sony's announcement, dropping its mostly positive review score to a mixed. Helldivers 2 subsequent review bombing led to Pilstead, to apologize. It's... His tweet, or X, or whatever, it's a tweet. We're just going to call it tweet. X is stupid. Ouch, right in the review score, Pilstead stated. Well, I guess it's warranted. Sorry, everyone, for how this has all transpired. I hope we will make it up and regain the trust by providing a continued great game experience. I just want to make great games, he says. Now, I personally put all this on Sony because this is definitely a Sony move. Plain and simple, to the point, it's a Sony move. So, unfortunately, it's probably not going to end well for some people. They're going to be forced to or quit. Pilstead's apology follows a previous tweet in which Helldivers 2 boss directed disgruntled players to PlayStation support. I like that part. Go see them. They're the one who's doing it to you. If they had any questions about linking rather than reaching out to Arrowhead. In his statement, Sony rationalized its new Helldivers 2 account linking requirement as a safety and security concern. Oh, man. Saying account linking plays a critical role in protecting our players and upholding the values of safety and security provided by PlayStation on the PlayStation Studio games. According to Sony, technical issues were to blame for Helldivers 2 account linking being temporarily optional on launch. So they're saying it was an error that kept you from being forced to at the beginning. Come June 4th, all current Helldivers 2 players must link their accounts in order to continue playing. So March something for the new ones, June for everybody else, according to this. So before I hand it to you, Nick, I've just got to say, Sony has been hacked so many times, compromised so many times. You tell me how in the Fraggle Rock those chodes are going to keep those Steam accounts safe when they start linking. It's Sony. They have the worst security, period, bar none. When it comes to game companies, they're terrible. They suck. That's why I don't ever put my credit card into my PlayStation. I will never trust Sony with my financial information. So now I got that off my chest. Nick, what do you think? Do you think we kind of talked about this before we started this? What do you think? We'll just go with that because I don't want to give a speech because it's pretty shitty.
Yeah, it's May 6th for any new customers that buy Helldivers, and then of course those who are existing, it's June 4th that you'll have to link your PlayStation account. I think the whole linking your PlayStation account really is just to boost numbers for Sony. I think that's really the gist of having to do that. Um, I feel bad for Johan, however you say his name. The Arrowhead CEO. I feel bad for him because it's like it's not their fault and it's not their decision. Like, for all those out there that are review bombing their game, don't do that, right? And the reason I say that is because this is not their doing, right? They don't have a choice in this. Sony published their game, and so therefore, you know, it's kind of they own more than likely they own the rights, and so therefore they can do what they want to do and enforce what they want to enforce on there. And if this is something Sony wants to enforce, I agree with them. You know, go to the PlayStation support, or bitch and moan to PlayStation about it, because it's their doing who's actually making this a requirement, right? Arrowhead, Helldiver 2 devs, they're not making this a requirement. So don't put down the game, because the game's great. I more directly set Sony and them being asshats for doing this type of stuff. I think this would have been better off. We talked about this before we started talking here. If this was a technical issue that was making it to where, because just for some context, whenever you launch Helldiver 2 on Steam, from what I've seen, it does pop up the option to link your PlayStation account. There is a skip option from what I've seen in the screenshots where you can skip it and you don't have to link the account. Apparently, it was, like you said, it was a glitch in the system that made it optional. It wasn't supposed to be optional. If that's the case, Sony should have made it to where they should have put a statement out at the beginning saying like, hey, because I don't remember a statement being out. I mean, if there is one, let us know down in the comments below if Sony did say something beforehand, but I don't remember anything like that. If Sony would have came out and said at the beginning, like, hey, those playing on PC, you have to link your PlayStation account. Right now it's temporarily not working. So, but come later on at a undisclosed time and date, because maybe at the time they didn't know, you're going to have to link it, right? And then this comes up and they're saying, okay, hey, this is going to happen now. Then people would be like, okay, well, they told us, right? Whereas this feels like, I feel like they're just springing it on people. And I wonder if Helldivers 2 didn't end up being the success that it is, would Sony even care to have people do that, right? I think really is ultimately just to boost their numbers. I think ultimately on the Steam side of things, for sure, it was more of like, probably was just an optional thing. Like you could, because it is a Sony game. So if you want like trophies or other things like that, you could link your PlayStation account, sure, right? And people could see your activity on PlayStation. And maybe, I don't know if you could play with PC gamers on PlayStation. I'm not 100% sure on that. But if you can, if there's crossplay, maybe in order for crossplay to work between PC and PlayStation, you have to link your account, right? I don't know. But, maybe those are the only options to get that to function between PC players and PlayStation players. But that being an option. Whereas now, again, because of how so successful the game is, I think now they're making a requirement because they want to boost their numbers. I think that's the main thing. I think they want to boost their online numbers, not those who are engaging with their network, right? Because it's all about for these businesses and stuff, it's all about numbers and statistics and things like that. And if they can show that they have this high value of players on their network, the investors can see that it's valuable, right? Whereas they're just boosting it by making people log into their environment. And not to say that Sony's not the only one that does this. Xbox does the same thing. That's why you have to log into just about anything Microsoft Studios, you have to log into your Xbox account, right? And they do it for the same exact reason, right? I mean, they'll give the PR spin of safety and security and all that crap, but it's all just to boost their numbers. That's really about it. So yeah, I mean, it's crappy. It's not a good thing to do that, to spring that on players, but don't take it out on Arrowhead. Take it out on Sony if you're mad about it. That's what I say.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. And one thing you did point out was it actually required at the beginning, and then the game became popular and they want to boost numbers with it. And just going off there, it says, according to Sony, technical issues were to blame for Helldivers 2 account linking being temporarily optional. So they put a skip button on there to make it optional, or was it originally optional, like you're saying? And then they're like, holy crap, we got a game here. We got a good game here. I think it's probably, you're correct. I think it's a number booster. I think it's a stockholder thing. Hey, look at the numbers that we're pulling up. But you're also definitely correct. Do not go after Arrowhead. They made an amazing game. They've kept it going. Normally, this is not on our repertoire for this long, and we play it constantly. So, it is sad to see, and it's just another reason to show that Sony does not care about their customers. They do not care about their game base. They do not care about the players. They do not. Plain simple, to the point. This is just another crappy move by them to screw their player base. But certain fanboys just don't care, and that's the reason they continue to do it. We gotta stop allowing these things. So yeah, cross-platform is available. You can play cross-platform, which is great. I wish they brought this to Xbox so everybody can play together, because it is that good of a game. It's that fun of a game. So, all that being said, if you are mad about this, PlayStation support, Nick, add a link below for them to get to PlayStation. And, let them know we're done. We're done with your crappiness. And this is another big part of it. If they would have, like Nick said, if they would have gave you a heads up when you purchased it, hey, this is optional now. Later on, we will have a requirement to link the accounts. That is understandable. At least then, they were aware, But I don't know. Maybe it was in a terms of service thing that, they put 40 billion words and phrases in and, try to make you read it, but nobody ever does. Maybe they did something like that. But Arrowhead Studios shouldn't be attacked for it. Sony should. This is purely a Sony thing. Everybody knows it. Don't review bomb the game. Now, if you want to review bomb Sony, go right ahead. They deserve it. But Arrowhead, I think, is innocent on this, because if you look at what they've been putting out content-wise for the game, continuous things to do, continuous just updating the player base, on Twitter and YouTube feeds, and once in a while, you can run into one of the the devs, and it's just what they've done is an amazing thing, and I'm very happy with this game. We need more of this game, but attacking them because of what Sony has done is not the right way to go about it. So, but that's just the way of the world anymore. We can say something on here and we get attacked for it, even though they have their own opinion. We have our own opinion. It's okay if you want to be upset by a fact or not, but opinions you can't go after. What Sony has done is something you want to go after, not Arrowhead. So, but I think if done right, this can be a learning lesson for Sony. This could be a learning lesson for Arrowhead. If the gaming community does it right, if they just load up that PlayStation support with either you stop this or we're done, I think Sony will stop it. but it would take a lot because this game is hugely popular. And we play it on PlayStation. We've talked about doing it on PC just because of all the mod supports for these stratagems. You can set shortcuts, things like that. But I definitely will not be doing it now. So, I mean, if it's already on my PlayStation, and if I have to link my PlayStation account, it just might as well keep it on PlayStation. So, but Nick, you got anything else before we Helldive PlayStation support?
No, I mean, and you're right. A lot of people have on Steam with their negative reviews have basically talked about how Sony's been hacked several times, and that's true. You brought that up at the very beginning, and Sony has had a very bad time about being hacked, a lot more than most of them, than the other ones. Not to say that Microsoft and I think even possibly Nintendo has been hacked before, but not to the extent that Sony has. Sony has been hacked quite a few times. And that doesn't boast well for the people that you're telling to link their accounts to. They're just like, you don't have the most secure network.
That's why Sony will never get my credit card information. They're terrible. They're absolutely terrible. And the biggest problem is not that they get hacked. It's the fact that they lie about it. They don't say nothing about it. And then when they do, they're so full of crap about their apologies. It's freaking hilarious. So, but I just, this is just another reason Sony is a crappy company who does not, and I mean it, does not give a crap about the gamers. They only care about what the gamers give them. Plain and simple. I know it's a corporation. Microsoft is the same way, but at least they can pretend better. They don't put out any games, but they pretend better. So, but you got anything else, buddy?
Well, the last thing I want to say is it's crazy because I was looking on Steam at the PlayStation games, and if you go to Helldivers 2, it does say requires. They have a blurb down there on the right side that says it does require PlayStation Network. I don't know if that's new or if that's always been there. I honestly don't know. But I was looking at other PlayStation games, even ones that have online capabilities, and none of them have that blurb. So not even the first Helldivers has that blurb on there. So this was like it seems like this is the first and only game that requires a PlayStation account. Now, I didn't click on every game out there that's on the PlayStation Network, but every one I've clicked on so far. Now, most of their games are single player, granted, but like, I looked at Returnal, which I know does have some sort of, I thought I had some sort of multiplayer, but
it has a co-op, if I remember right.
Yeah, I thought it had like a co-op because I want to say me and Pat played it at some point. A Predator Hunting Grounds, which I don't know if that's being played online anymore, but that's apparently a PlayStation game, and it does not have one. Guns Up, which they published that. PlayStation as well as published that one. I don't know anything about that one, but that one doesn't require it either. So, yeah, a lot of their other games do not. Looks like every other game does not require that. Only Helldivers 2 has that blurb on there. So I think it's just for that, just for, like I said, just to boost numbers, basically.
Yep, and that's sad. Just sad. But I don't expect better from Sony. I just don't. Fanboys hate me or not, I don't care. It's fact, not opinion there. So anyways, thanks for listening. You made it to the end of the video, so do the whole like, share, subscribe, hit those notifications. Most importantly, give us feedback. We love the feedback. We try to interact as best we can with any comment we get, and we want your comments on this. We want to know, is Sony right about doing this? Are they wrong about forcing this? I mean, it's their toy. I mean, they can do what they want with it, but you're the one paid for it. So I really think it's pretty crappy. But make sure you don't give Arrowhead any crap. Take it to PlayStation. Until next time, see ya.